Hello DirtFish friends, I am here with George Black, tyre guru from M Sport Ford World Rally Team. Now I've known George an awfully long time and George and I were just talking there about the conditions here in Sweden. They are fairly unique. We haven't seen these, well ever I don't think, George, have we?
Not to this extent, so close to the start of the rally.
No.
Normally, I've seen it when we've arrived maybe a week, 10 days before. We've seen this condition, but usually it always changes quick enough that by the time we do the shakedown, we've got a good winter condition. But we're struggling this year.
We are indeed. Now, I just suggested to George that coming from Monte Carlo round one, where we had a choice of 4 tyres, coming here to Sweden we've got 1 tyre. There's no choice. You take the studded tyre, obviously. But I just wonder George, how is that tyre going to evolve? We've got a lot of gravel on the road, we've got mud in places, potentially. How will a tyre work on these stages?
It depends on how hard the gravel actually is. If it's a compacted gravel with a lot of stone, then it damages the studs very quickly. If it's a softer gravel stage, bit sand, even a bit of mud, it doesn't damage the tyre all that much. The big concern is if you have a stage that is a hard, stony part at the beginning, and then maybe you've got ice toward the end, then that's when it becomes very, very tricky to try and manage the stud retention at the beginning of the stage when you're on the gravel, so that you've still got them in the tyre when you come to the ice.
And how firstly, somebody suggested to me that you're quite right, you will lose the studs in that really rocky, gravelly stuff, but while you've got the studs in the tyre, you're getting very good grip, almost as good as you'd get on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, you get very good mechanical grip from the tyre. If you're working on the gravel, the actual tread pattern of the tyre gives you good mechanical grip. I mean, going back to British Championship type stuff, for example, where you're not allowed to use studs. Yeah. But I remember doing snowman rallies years ago where you took a snow tyre with you. Yeah. Because even in a muddy condition, you get a lot of good mechanical grip from the tread pattern of the tyre without the stud. So that will work here on the muddy sections. You don't need the stud.
But how, you talk about looking after the studs, protecting them, is that under just being more progressive on the braking, on the throttle? How do they do that?
Exactly. It's quite difficult to achieve, because obviously they've done the recce, they know the conditions, but it's just being a little bit more gentle on the brakes, and if you know the next corner is going to be a really hard gravel, then just back off a little bit earlier, rather than just throwing the car into the corner as you normally would.
Because that feeling when you go for the brakes and you've got a corner with full ice, it's not going to be pleasant, is it, when the studs have gone?
No, if the studs have gone, then you're a passenger when you come onto the ice.
And your job here, there is now potentially, we've got the extra TFZ, the tyre fitting zone. Is there some tactic, some strategy that you can play with the tyres, or is it just keep putting new ones on as much as you can?
No, there's no strategy involved. We're still waiting on the final clarification of exactly how many tyres or how many fitting points there's going to be. There was still some discussion last night. The way it is now, they've cancelled the Super Special tonight in Karlstad. That is now extension of the shakedown. The shakedown tyres were out with the rally package, so the tyres we've used this morning we'll use again tonight. So we start with a fresh package of 28 tyres tomorrow morning for the rally. Now the way it is at the moment on the schedule, I'm happy we can put a set of new tyres on, 5 tyres here tomorrow morning, covers the first stage, 6 tyres at the tyre fitting zone, etc. And it'll work into the 28 nicely. And as long as that's the way it goes, then there's no strategy, it's just throw new tyres at it.
Yeah. It's almost like the old days, isn't it?
Absolutely. Set of tyres per stage and go for it.
Absolutely. Well, there we are. That's an insight into the one tyre that the guys have got to use this weekend. So thank you, George, very much, and let's see how we go.